What Rambo lacks in sophistication, it makes up for in its enjoyable gameplay. Although the game is far from perfect, I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought I would. So anyway, let's get into it. Rambo for the MSX. The game's title screen is underwhelming to say the least. Not that it's totally terrible, mind you, but the red and black colors just don't get me excited about the game. In addition, the title is something of a misnomer. It says Rambo, which might make you think it's based off First Blood, the original Rambo movie. But no, the game's actually based off Rambo First Blood Part 2. And the title screen is based off the movie's poster. Why they couldn't just put that title in there, I don't know. Maybe they ran out of space, or maybe they were just fucking lazy. Once you get into the actual game, the graphics don't get much better. Everything looks rather flat and dull. And the characters are almost as big as the buildings, as are other objects and animals. However, it doesn't bother me that much because the game did come out back in 1985. Furthermore, at least they bothered to differentiate Rambo with some black clothing. So points for that. But overall, even for 1985, the graphics are a little weak. As for the game's controls, they're very simple. The directional buttons on the keyboard allow you to move Rambo left, right, up, and down. Spacebar allows you to attack with a weapon, and the left Alt button allows you to switch between weapons and items. There's really not much to the controls, and they're easy to learn. However, there is a problem with these controls. Namely, that they're a bit stiff and unresponsive, and the environments are so blocky that it makes it harder to control Rambo than it should be. Additional control problems occur with the Jeep, but I'll get into that more later in the review. As I mentioned earlier, the gameplay is enjoyable, though it can be frustrating in certain parts. Rambo is what I like to call a fuck-up game. In other words, you have to constantly fuck up and die to get anywhere. Now one could argue that almost any game is a fuck-up game to some degree. But what separates Rambo from the other ones is that this one is very unforgiving. Since Rambo only has one life, you will die a lot. And there are things in this game that can kill you very quickly. Soldiers with machine guns, snakes, spiders, lasers. I don't know when this game moved into James Bond territory, but yes, they have lasers that kill you instantly. Things like this is what I mean by a fuck-up game. Thankfully though, this game isn't too long. And once you start learning from your mistakes, you'll get better at it more quickly. Your mission basically follows the second Rambo film, albeit in a compressed manner. The main goal is to rescue a POW and escape from Vietnam. To accomplish this, you must go from screen to screen killing enemies and collecting items. And when you get certain items, they allow you to go into other restricted areas. Sort of like Metal Gear, except a bit more simplistic. For example, you need grenades to blow up buildings and missile emplacements and to get certain items such as the rocket launcher. And the rocket launchers allow you to destroy the lasers and get into new areas. The machine gun and bow and arrows allow you to destroy enemies from a distance. A key allows you into this locked off area where you can get medicine for the POW, etc., etc. One annoying part about the gameplay is that you must perform certain tasks in a particular way to succeed. Otherwise, you are dead meat. For example, this part with the spider. You must arm yourself with a knife and make sure that you're facing south when you get to the spider hole. The spider will come up and trap you and you must stab it to death. But if you're not facing in the correct direction, you won't be able to attack it. And since you can't escape, it will rapidly drain your life away. Another example is this locked off area. If you go in one of two ways, you have to watch out for this laser, otherwise it'll kill you instantly. As I mentioned earlier, once you get into this locked off area, you have to get the medicine for the POW. And once you have that, you can heal the prisoner and have him follow you. Oh, but don't forget to commandeer the Jeep because that'll help you get to the helipad faster. This Jeep, however, is almost as much a liability as it is an asset. Here's what I mean. When you get it, it makes Rambo nearly invincible. Except if it gets hit by a laser, which destroys it instantly. However, you can only drive on roads with it. Apparently, the Viet Cong never heard of four-wheel drive. Worse yet, though, is that this vehicle can't get past ordinary soldiers. That's right, they can block you. So you have to drive around them or go back. But in certain scenes, the soldiers can trap you in your Jeep and force you to restart the game. When did Charlie become more powerful than a motorized vehicle? It would have been cool as hell for Rambo to run over the VC troops. But no, we can't have that. And soldiers respawn on almost every fucking screen. So when you rescue the POW, you have to get out of the next screen fast, or else you'll get stuck. Anyway, once you rescue the POW, you have to drive him to the chopper. Sort of like Rambo's taxi service, I guess. Oh, but don't forget to get gas for the chopper, otherwise you ain't going nowhere. Alright, so you get the gas, you get the one POW, you get into the Jeep, and you get to the helipad. I don't know where the other POWs went. I guess they decided to rescue themselves rather than wait for Rambo. Now before you take off, there are two critical points about this escape. One is that you have to make sure that the POW is on the chopper before you take off. And when I say on the chopper, I mean he literally has to be standing on the chopper. Because if he isn't standing right on that chopper when you take off, you lose the whole game! That's right. The game says that you left that dumb son of a bitch behind and the enemy kills him. You know what? Fine by me. If that cocksucker is too stupid to get on the fucking chopper himself, then the enemy can have him! 2, you have to destroy all the missile launchers with grenades. There's 3 of them total. If you fail to do this, they'll shoot you out of the sky and you'll get another bad ending. Well, gee, thanks! It's not like I could destroy them with the guns and missiles on my own chopper! Okay, so you destroy the missile emplacements with your grenades beforehand. And you make sure that the POW is standing on the chopper before you take off. Then you can finally win the game and get the good ending. Hooray! Of course they have the gall to tell you to expect your next mission. Fuck you, Jack! Once was enough! The game's music is really odd. Here, listen. It's okay on its own, I guess. But it sounds really wrong for a Rambo game. It feels more like it belongs in an E.T. or My Little Pony game. I wish they had done a rendition of Jerry Goldsmith's music from the films. I think that would have worked much better in my opinion. Despite the game's problems, I was surprised at how much I liked it. It's a quick, fun little adventure that will entertain you for a couple of hours. And from what I've seen of the reviews of the new Rambo game, it certainly looks better than that piece of shit. So in conclusion, Rambo for the MSX might not be a classic for the ages, but I wouldn't let that stop you from playing it. This is Filmin' Stuff signing off. Thanks for watching. If that cocksucker is too stupid to get on the fucking chopper himself, then the enemy can have him!